Okay, I think we're recording, hopefully. I'm going to throw your name on here. It is second hour. Ooh, that was a weird 2. Still a weird 2. Hey, today is 5.4. We are multiplying polynomials again today, so this is part 2. The difference of what we are doing today in comparison to what we did in 5.3 is today, instead of multiplying a monomial or one term out to everything, we are going to be multiplying a binomial, so 2 terms. So today we're going to do 2 by 2s and 2 by 3s. Steps 1 and 2 are the same as they were on Friday. I don't know why I have an extra period there. You need to multiply the coefficients. You need to add the exponents. That is still the exact same. What's different today is that at the end of the problem, you might need to combine some like terms, and you're going to have to make sure that you're in standard form if and when you do combine those like terms to write your final answer. Then I put a little note here. The big difference today is since we're multiplying by a binomial, everybody has to get multiplied by that binomial. So every term in the first binomial has to distribute to every term in the second binomial or trinomial. Front side is binomials, back side is trinomials. So moving down, you guys will notice that on this first example, I have a little box, and on the second one, I don't. And that is because we want to show you that this box is a great strategy to use, but that you don't always have to use it. So, with that being said, we're going to do the first one with a box. Before I do that, though, I'm going to add in my imaginary ones. So I've got 2x to the first, and I've got 1x to the first as well. Please stop running in the hallways. What in the 3rd grade is going on out there? Okay, so now we are going to take that 2x to the first minus 5. We're going to put it on the left side of our box. So we're going to put the 2x to the first here. We're going to put our minus 5 here. Then across the top, we're going to put 1x to the first and a 3. So this is us taking our 2 terms times our 2 terms and making sure everybody in the first binomial gets multiplied by everybody in the second binomial. Okay, so then to fill out our boxes, it's the exact same thing we did Friday. So we'll do 2 times 1, which is 2. We will add our exponents. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I've got 2x squared. Damien, can you please take notes with us? 2 times 3 is 6. And then 1 plus none is still 1. So I've got 6x to the first there. Bottom row, I've got negative 5 times 1. That's negative 5. And then I have my x to the first can come down. And then bottom right hand, negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Okay. Any questions about setting up the box or getting the boxes filled in? Okay, so this is kind of like an organizational strategy to make sure that every term gets multiplied by every term. Because 2 times 2 is 4. I've got my 4 pieces of my answer. Then, to write my final answer, I have to pull it all out of the boxes. I need to combine like terms if there's any like terms, and I need to put it in standard form. So my 2x squared is going to go first, because that's my highest exponent. And then this negative 5x to the first and this 6x to the first, they can combine together. Negative 5 plus 6 is 1. So I have plus 1x to the first. And then I still have my minus 15. Okay. Any questions on that guy? All right. Let's move on to the next one then. It's another 2 by 2. But the reason why we put this one on here is to show you that you don't have to use those boxes, because it ends up being a little bit more writing to use the boxes, but if it helps you from making mistakes, you should. So it's completely up to you. We want to show you what it would look like if we were just distributing. So the big part of distributing is remembering that both of these guys need to get multiplied by both of these guys. So how I do that is I start with my first term in my first polynomial, and I distribute it out. So 3x squared times 2x to the first. So 3 times 2 is 6. And then I add my exponents. 2 plus 1 is 3. So I've got 6x cubed. So that was the first thing I multiplied. Then I'm going to take this 3x squared, and I'm going to multiply it by the other thing in the second polynomial. So I'm doing the first term by everybody first. So 3x squared times negative 3 is negative 9x squared. Okay, then I have to remember to multiply the second term in the first binomial, so that negative 4, by everybody as well. So I draw my little arches underneath for this. So I do negative 4 times 2x to the first to get negative 8x to the first. And negative 4 times negative 3 to get positive 12. Okay, then there would be times where this is not in standard form and we would need to rearrange it. There also might be times where there's like terms. This one, there is no like terms and it's already in standard form, so yay. So 3, 2, 1, none for my exponents, and then there's no like terms, so there's nothing to combine in this one. So there's nothing else we gotta do. Any questions? Okay, flip this over then. Backside is the same thing, but it's 2 by 3s instead of 2 by 2s. So it's binomials times trinomials. What is 2 times 3? Thank you. So 2 times 3 is 6. So you should end up with 6 terms before you combine things. First one, we're going to use the box. Second one, we're not. So add in my imaginary ones. I think it's just on this guy, 1x to the first. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to put 3x squared and negative 2 on the left. And then across the top, I'm going to put 5x squared, 1x to the first, and negative 4. And then I can start filling out my table. So 3x squared times 5x squared is 15x squared, because 3 times 5 is 15. Oop, I made a mistake. What's my mistake? I forgot to add my exponents. Got a little too confident there. 3 times 5 is 15. 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, then moving on. 3x squared times 1x to the first, so this is top middle. 3 times 1 is 3. Let's remember to add our exponents, Ms. Ho. 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, top right, we've got 3x squared times negative 4. So that's negative 12x squared. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, and then the x squared just kind of distributes over. Then my bottom row, I'm just multiplying by negative 2, so none of my exponents are going to change. Negative 2 times 5x squared is going to be negative 10x squared still. Negative 2 times 1x to the first is going to be negative 2x to the first. And negative 2 times negative 4 is going to be positive 8. Hey, any questions on the table before we combine things? Okay, what can get combined? The negative 10 and the negative 12, because they're both x squareds. So, combining that together, we've got 15x to the fourth stays by itself. 3x cubed stays by itself. And then negative 10 and negative 12 is negative 22. It stays x squared. You don't change your exponents when you're combining like terms. And then I've got my negative 2x to the first and my plus 8. Remember, everybody needs a plus or a minus in between them. And never do plus negative. That's gross and weird, and I don't like it. It's just redundant. Hey. Sorry. We've got one more to do before we move on, before I scoot down. Does anyone have any questions? Hey, last one to do. We're going to try doing, well, not going to try. We are going to do it by just distributing. So this one, we're going to take the x, multiply it by everything over here. Then we'll take the 1, multiply by everything over here. So remember, before we combine like terms, I should have 6 total terms. So you always want to like check and make sure I didn't miss anybody before you start combining. My imaginary ones can go right here, 1x to the first and negative 2x to the first. And then I can start multiplying. 1x to the first times 3x squared. 1 times 3 is just going to be 3. And then I add my exponents. 1 plus 2 is 3. 1x to the first times negative 2x to the first. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. I add my exponents. 1 plus 1 is 2. One x to the first times 5. 1 times 5 is 5. And I still have my x to the first. So right now, all I've done is multiply that trinomial, the second set of parentheses, by x to the first. So all of my numbers have stayed the same, 3, negative 2, 5, 3, negative 2, 5. And my exponents have all just gone up by 1. So 2 became 3, 1 became 2, none became 1. Okay. Then the second piece of distributing I have to do, I guess the last 3 pieces of distribute I have to do, is multiply by 1 for here. So 1 times 3x squared is 3x squared. 1 times negative 2x is negative 2x. And 1 times 5 is 5. Because multiplying by 1 doesn't change the value of anything. It's just all the same. Just threw my pen on the ground. Okay. Any questions before we combine? Okay. What can we combine? Yeah, sorry, you were saying the other set, and I was underlining the first set. So, these two guys can combine, because they're both x squareds. And then this 5x to the first and this negative 2x to the first can combine. So we'll put our answer in standard form, and we'll go from having 6 terms just down to 4 terms. So 3x cubed will stay by itself. And then negative 2x squared and 3x squared. So these two are combining together to be 1x squared. And then 5x to the first and negative 2x to the first combine together to be 3x to the first. And then my plus 5 just stays by itself. Okay, moment of truth. Is my video going to